What's up? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. I hope you had fun shopping madness over the weekend for Black Friday. I literally took advantage of nothing. I had hello Crystal. I had a bunch of things on my list and I did nothing. So I did not get any deals, which is, well, whatever. All good. I really meant to buy blinds. I didn't. You really start to feel like an adult when you're buying blinds, hey? Anyways, I hope you're doing well. I'm Kendra Perry. I am an online business strategist and mentor for health and wellness coaches and practitioners. And every Tuesday at noon Pacific, I do this live Q&A on Instagram Live to answer all your beautiful and amazing and lovely questions that get submitted to me throughout the week. So if you have questions, you want to ask me anything, shoot me a direct message. I will add it to the list. I also put up a post on Mondays where you can dump them in there. And I love answering your questions. Not much going on right now. I'm trying to think. Updates, not a ton going on right now. We just had my Black Friday promotion, which went really well. And now we're taking a break on promotions for the month of December, but I will be opening up Health Coach Accelerator, my signature program for health coaches and practitioners and professionals who are trying to build an online coaching business, yet they are not making $5K a month consistently. So that $5K a month consistently is a really good first financial goal. And this is what this program helps you do. So I'm going to drop the wait list for the replay that goes out on IGTV. But if you guys are on with me right now and you have any question at all about your online business, no question is too crazy. I will happily answer all of them, but I did have a few questions, a couple really great questions submitted in advance that I want to go over. So the first one is, I keep getting ghosted by clients. What do I do? I've heard this a lot lately. It's actually really interesting that this question is being asked because I have heard this a lot. And it really comes down to a few different things. The first question, because I'm going to throw a question back at you. The first question that I have is, well, like who are these clients and how are they being qualified, right? We don't want to just work with anyone because not everyone is ready and willing to change, right? Not everyone is a good fit for what we do. And I know new coaches are usually broke. So there's a little bit of that financial desperation happening. And they are worried, well, if I say no, am I going to be able to pay my bills? So they want the money. Therefore, they say yes to all kinds of clients, and typically a bunch of them who aren't the best fit. So the truth is, I think every client that you work with needs to be qualified in some way, shape, or form, okay? The best way to do this is with a sales call, also known as a discovery call. I like to call it a qualifying call because I don't want people to get the impression that they're getting free coaching or an opportunity to pick my brain. It is a conversation to see if it feels like a fit for both parties, right? So that's why I like to call it a qualifying call. And so I encourage that you offer a qualifying call, complimentary, free, or maybe you offer it for a small charge. That's all cool. But that you really try to qualify people on the call, and really your whole intention with a qualifying call or sales call, discovery call, whatever you want to call it, is to determine, is this person ready? Like, are they a good fit? Do I like their vibe? Are they someone I believe I can help? Are they someone who's ready to be helped, right? And if they're not, you really shouldn't take them on as a client because they're not going to do the work. Now, if you are someone who is selling one-off sessions, this is a big reason why you're probably getting ghosted because you're not getting any upfront commitment from the client, right? If you are selling one-off sessions, you do not want to be offering a free qualifying call because it's not worth your time. A one-off session, perhaps you are charging $100 for it, or $80 or $120 or something like that. It's not worth it to get someone on a sales call. And I don't actually recommend selling one-off sessions at all. If you're selling one-off sessions, you are doing that business model, you are basically riding a train, you're riding the crazy train to burnout right now. It's not going to go well for you. And you're not going to make good money, right? You're going to be in continual search of finding new clients, because it's pretty common that when someone books one session with you and they only buy one session, like they're not going to rebook with you, or if they do, it's going to be a long time in the future, right? It's not a good business model, and I don't recommend it. So if you're doing that, that might be part of it, right? If you are selling a program, a package, something along those lines, which is what I recommend, you got to make sure they're qualified, right? Before they get on a call with you. Not everyone is ready to change, and you're not going to be 100% on your qualifying skills. People do sneak in who seem like they're really committed and they're really into it, and then they just fall off the wagon. Okay. That does happen. That's normal. It's okay. But you also need to be a good coach. If you find you're in a situation where your client is struggling, so they're struggling, they're not getting the results, and you are just telling them to do it better or to try harder, that is not going to be helpful. And that's not good coaching skills, right? You need to dig into why people aren't doing the work, why they are self-sabotaging. Because oftentimes why people aren't doing the work in your coaching program, it isn't necessarily because your program sucks, right? It doesn't mean your program sucks. It's not because it is too hard to follow, but typically what is going on is they are, I'm going to just block this creep. What was I saying? Yeah, like they're struggling, right? They're unable. Hey, Jody's here. What's up? There's some sort of mindset or deeper wound or something going on in their life that is preventing them from succeeding. So you want to go beyond just like, you need to do this better, right? You need to do this better, because that's not it's not typically going to work. It's not good coaching, right? So number one, if you're worried that if people are ghosting you, stop selling one-off sessions, because you're going to get ghosted over and over and over again if you're selling one-off sessions. Number two, if you're not selling one-off sessions, good job, and you're selling a program, that's great. You need to make sure you are qualifying the client properly, right? You also need to make sure that your program is very robust and it's set up to hold people accountable, right? There needs to be things in place that keep people on track, that hold people accountable, and that there needs to be a flexible framework for if it is too overwhelming for someone, because if you try to drop too much information, if you try to do too much, you give them too much, you might just be overwhelming them, and that might be why they're dropping off, okay? So I'm going to plug my online course, Signature Program RX. This teaches you how to build out a signature program, how to price it, how to name it, so that you don't have to explain it. Your ideal client instantly knows who it's for. We also talk a little bit about messaging and how to actually talk about that program and show your ideal client that program is for them and is going to help them reach their goal. This is a mini training that I have. It's only $97. I'm going to drop it in the show notes, the description of the IGTV when I put it to when I post the replay. Because that's super inexpensive, and it'll help you build out your program, because if people are dropping off, it may have something to do with like the program. There's something off with the program. It's not helping people. So again, look into how you're qualifying people, right? Make sure they are getting qualified. Do not, I repeat, do not work with a client who is not a good fit, even if you're broke as fuck and you have no money. Don't do that, because you're going to feel like shit, because you basically sold someone into your program who is the wrong fit. So you're taking their money. That feels slimy. That feels inauthentic. They're not going to get results. So they're going to be unhappy. That's going to make you feel like shit. It's going to affect your confidence. So don't do it. I don't care that you have $0 in your bank account. Don't take on a client who you can't help, right? So that qualifying process is really important. Having a really robust, captivating signature program that is created exactly for a person, very important. It's also important to have coaching skills, right? If people are falling off track and they're self-sabotaging, instead of just giving them tough love and being like, well, just fucking do it, like start asking questions. Figure out, what could be happening that is preventing them from moving forward. This is effective coaching. Asking captivating questions, asking questions that help people realize like why they keep having a certain experience over and over and over again. Okay. Another reason why people might be ghosting you might have to do with the price point of what you're offering. The lower the price point that people pay, the less committed they are going to be. It's just the way it is, right? Your clients who pay you a good price point, a hefty price point, they're going to be more committed, right? That's just the way it goes, right? People who get things for free or for really cheaply, they're not going to be that committed, right? Like, when was the last time you got something for free and you were like super committed? Like that transaction that happens between people, it has to actually hurt a little bit, at least a little bit, because that's what talks, right? That's what makes people take action. So really, really important. Okay. So I hope that helps. But just to summarize, look at your qualifying call, look at your offer. Is it robust? Look at your coaching. Are there things in your program to help people stay on track? And then finally, are you pricing properly? And if you're confused about any of these things, Signature Program RX is my mini training. It's only $97. I'm going to drop that link in the IGTV replay if you guys want to check that out. Cool. Next question. And for any of you guys who are hanging out with me live, let me know. Happy to answer. Okay. Really good question. I'm actually really glad this question was asked. Can you speak about refund policies? I just had 2 clients request them. Okay. You do need a refund policy. Absolutely. You need a refund policy, because if you don't have a refund policy that is written into your contract that your client actually signs for, then you have to do whatever they ask. You are at the will of what they want. So if you don't have a refund policy written up into your contract and someone is requesting a refund, you have to give them a full refund because it's in the contract, right? But you do need a refund policy, and you need to be very intentional with your refund policy. Now, your refund policy will depend on whether you are offering one-on-one coaching or if you are offering an online course, a group program. That might look a little bit different. But with private coaching, I recommend having a no refunds policy. Now, again, you can always make exceptions. Sometimes crazy shit happens in people's lives. You know, like I had a client once sign up for me, and then her home was destroyed in, I believe, a hurricane or something like that. And she lost everything. And she's like, can I get a refund? And you know, we were early on in the program, and I was like, yeah, like no problem. Like, I get it. This is crazy. Like, you need the money because you just fucking lost everything. Right. So I made the exception, and you can always do that, but you need to have the policy in place. Now, the reason why I don't do refunds with private coaching is because you do so much of the work up front, right? Like, so much of the work happens in the onboarding process, you know, getting clients set up for their program, the intake, that sort of thing. If you're running labs, right? Like the interpretation session, the buying of the labs, all these things. So I don't have a refund policy. And basically the way that I always did it with one-on-one coaching is once the contract was signed, I didn't give refunds. But occasionally it did happen where somebody purchased on a sales call. And so I took their payment over the phone, and then I sent out the contract. And before they signed the contract, you know, they had buyer's remorse, or they were just like, you know what, I talked to my husband, or my husband just lost his job. Can I get a refund? And in that case, before the contract was signed, I gave them a refund. And at that point, like, nothing had been done, because I literally would take payment on the phone, and nothing would happen until the contract was signed. So I would do nothing. I wouldn't send out intake. I wouldn't send out labs. I wouldn't schedule appointments. I would do nothing until the contract was signed. And then once the contract was signed, we would get things rolling. So that was the situation where I did give a refund. But once we were into the program and the contract was signed, there was no refund, because we had already been, you know, into the program. There was all this work that had been done. Now, so occasionally when I have clients who turn into assholes, haven't had a ton of them, but, you know, I have had them, you will have them. You know, I'm thinking particularly of this one woman who, you know, she in health coaching, ultimately, we work with people who are struggling with their mental health. So I did get more of these types of people when I was in health coaching than now. I don't get it very often, although I did recently have a bit of a crazy bitch situation, but we won't get into that. But yeah, I did have this woman who, got really crazy and, was demanding all these things that weren't a part of the program, were never offered to her. And she was being super rude to my assistant and just writing these crazy emails, like basically harassing her. And so that was a situation where I decided to fire her as a client. I was just like, this isn't acceptable. Like, you can't call me a fraud. You were demanding things that were never promised to you, that were never a part of this program. You were demanding things that are outside of the scope of this program, and you're being an asshole to my assistant. So you're not a client anymore. And I did give a partial refund. I didn't have to, but there is something about when you need to fire a client or get rid of a client where it feels like an energy dump just to give their money back, right? Sometimes it's like this push of energy that's just like, here's your money, fuck off, okay? So I have given refunds. I've even given full refunds to clients who've done things like that. I can remember specifically in a membership program I used to have, there were 2 different occasions where somebody completely broke the rules, and they got a warning, they continued to break them. So I ended up kicking them out of the membership. And one woman had purchased a year membership. We were like 6 months into the year, but I just gave her a full refund because, again, I didn't have to. My policy said no refunds, but it's like this energy cleanse that I really love to do when I can just tell that I need to just push people out of my energetic field, my space. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to deal with them, so I just give them a refund. Like, you can always do that, and I often do that. But yeah, I don't do refunds in private coaching. Now, I do refunds in my online courses and group programs. So with my group program, for example, a Health Coach Accelerator, which we're running right now, will relaunch in January. I offer a 30-day refund. So people aren't allowed to request a refund till 30 days, right? And then at 30 days, they can request a refund, and they just need to show us proof that they actually gave the program an honest go. Because the thing is, I truly believe that if people do my program, if people do Health Coach Accelerator, that they're going to get a result. I 100% stand behind it. So I truly believe if people, because typically why people are going to request refunds, Larita's here, hi Larita, is buyer's remorse, right? They're like, oh shit, I can't believe I just bought that. Oh my God. But like, and this isn't I'm not trying to sound harsh with this, but buyer's remorse isn't my problem, right? And I lose money when people request refunds. So I say to people, hey, you can request a refund at 30 days. So if they ask for a refund immediately, I'm like, just wait till 30 days. And just so take 30 days to enjoy the program. Like, do all the things, attend all the calls, and I will offer you the refund at 30 days. Just show us that you did the work. Like, show us your worksheets, if I've seen them on the group calls, that sort of thing. Because I truly believe that if they actually participate in the program, they're going to love it and they're not going to request a refund. And that has dramatically cut down on my refund requests, because most people, they don't feel like they need to get their refund right away because they know they have 30 days. And then they feel calm so they can explore the content of the program. And then usually at that point, they're like, oh, this is actually fucking awesome. So I don't want that refund anymore because this is actually incredibly valuable, right? That works a lot. So I do a 30-day refund with my bigger programs. And with my smaller, so I have a bunch of mini courses, Niche Like a Boss, which teaches you how to choose a niche, Rock Your Sales Call, which teaches you how to sell on a sales call, and then Signature Program RX, which teaches you how to build out a signature program. Those are mini trainings. They're DIY. There's no support component. So I do a 7-day refund policy. So they can request a refund at 7 days. Again, I get very few refund requests. So it's way easier to manage refunds, I find, with group programs and courses. With one-on-one coaching, it's tricky because usually if someone's requesting a refund, you've already done half the work, right? You've already done the onboarding, you've done the test result session, you've done whatever. So I just say no refund. and I make sure that they sign it in the contract. Like, there are no refunds. And if something happens, right? If someone's like, oh my God, this crazy thing has happened in my life and now I can't do these sessions anymore. If that situation happened, typically what I would do is I would just defer it. I'd be like, we can totally defer your program to 3 months from now when you can better commit. I would do that once. I would offer one deferment if, on a case-by-case basis, if like this excuse was legit, right? Now, again, there were certain situations where I did give a refund when crazy things happen, like the hurricane, one of my clients' house getting destroyed in a hurricane. I was like, yeah, I'm going to give you a fucking refund because that's crazy. And we weren't that far into the program. But you do need a refund policy. And if you're asking this question in regards to private coaching, have a no refund policy. There will be a window though, because typically the way we sell is on a sales call. So typically we take payment before a contract is signed. People request a refund within that window. I would just give it, right? Because at that point you haven't done anything. Because don't do anything until someone has actually legitimately signed the contract. That's really, really important. But once they've signed the contract, and the way I set out my contracts is I have them say, I agree for each clause of the contract. A lot of people do contracts and it's just one big thing and then they just sign at the end. Nobody actually reads those. And not that it matters. I mean, regardless, they sign for it. But I like to be very transparent in the way that I do my contracts. Like, I don't want people to not read the contract. So I have each clause in a separate thing. Like, all payments made are non-refundable. I agree. This is your deadline for this. I agree. 24-hour cancellation policy. I agree. Whatever it is, whatever you have in there, whatever rules that you have associated with your contract, you have a little box where they can click agree. Now, if you guys use Practice Better, you can totally build this out within Practice Better. You can use paper form. I think you could probably do this with Google Forms too. I'm not sure if Google Forms provides a legal signature, but for a contract. But yeah, I do recommend that they have to agree for each section of the contract. So then they can't just be like, well, I didn't see that. You're like, well, you put, I agree. So you clearly read it and said you agreed, right? In the end, they probably still won't really read the contract. Some people just go through and they're like, I agree. But responsibility, right? That's on them. So I hope that helps with refund policies. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. For those 10 of you guys who are hanging out with me live right now, thank you for being here. But if you have any questions that come up as we go through the week, again, I do these live Q&As every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. That is 3 p.m. Eastern. And I am more than happy to answer any of your questions. So shoot me a direct message with your question and I will add it to the questions list. Larita says, I do that for my retreats. Such a good idea to do for my practice. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Just make it really clear. You might even add extra language, right? So super, super important around that. But yeah, so hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're going to have a great rest of your week. And thanks for tuning in. And I will chat with you next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. Love ya and have a great day.